The UPSC CSE arena is an ever-evolving space where staying up to date becomes as crucial as maintaining a thorough preparation. With strategic planning and holistic coverage for exam syllabus, Vision IS Delhi presents GS Foundation course. Avail analysis and integration of current affairs with GS syllabus. All India test series with an innovative assessment system, inculcating post-test analysis, discussion, All India ranking, and more. Explore the holistic learning modules intrinsically designed for the ideal aspirant. A stronghold over current affairs is your way to succeed in the UPSC Civil Services examination. Brace yourself and get detailed coverage of relevant news both nationally and internationally. With the monthly current affairs revision program starting from 26th October at 5 p.m. Enroll today and elevate your current affairs knowledge with comprehensive coverage of current affairs compiled through relevant sources such as the Hindu Indian Express, Economic Times, PIB Yojana, and others. Expert support and personalized mentoring. Comprehensive assessment through MCQs and mains-oriented questions.
Okay, welcome back. We'll start with the second topic, e-waste management in India. Okay. So you already know and understand what is e-waste. What is e-waste? You tell me. If you had to define e-waste, what would you say? Electronic waste, chalo. Or is this, if I throw this away in a dustbin, is this an e-waste? Yes or no? Yes. Sure. Why not? Because it can be used where? After recycling. So anything that can be recycled is not e-waste. It is not waste. Okay. Okay. No. Actually, look. So let's start with the discussion. What is e-waste? Okay. E-waste means anything that is discarded. Okay. Discarded electronic item. If I have to give you a definition of e-waste, e-waste is the end of life electronic and electrical gadgets. That means they have achieved the end of their life cycle, their utility. All right. So is a washing machine an e-waste? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Is a mixer grinder an e-waste? Yes. All right. So e-waste is not just electronic items, because we have a bias of thinking linking it only with electronics, but it has both electronics and electrical. So it has household appliances, lighting equipment, electronic tools, even toys and sports equipment, okay, which has electronic or electric components, is a part of e-waste. Anything that is discarded and reaches its end of life cycle, that is e-waste. Now, what is the scenario of e-waste in the world like? How much are we generating? This is the latest data from the Global E-Waste Monitor Report 2024, okay. What you see here, this is the amount of EEE, that is electrical and electronic equipment. The amount of electrical and electronic equipment that we are producing. okay? जितना दुनिया में बन रहा है and is coming to the markets for selling. This is that line. This line is the amount of e-waste that is generated, okay? So imagine jitna produce ho raha hai, major chunk of that is also getting generated as e-waste parallelly. And this line that you see here, green, this is the amount of e-waste. This is the amount of e-waste that is being recollected and recycled. So can you see the gap? कितना हम प्रोडक्शन कर रहे हैं, कितना वेस्ट जनरेट हो रहा है और कितना फाइनली एंड में रिसाइकल हो रहा है. द नंबर्स आर 96, दिस इज इन बिलियन केजी. सो 96 बिलियन केजी electric and electronic equipment is being placed on the market. 62 billion kg waste is generated and only 13.8 has been recycled and processed properly. Okay, this is the gap. If we had to put all of this e-waste that has been generated, 62 billion kg e-waste को अगर हम trucks में भरें, it will fill about 1.5 million trucks. 15 लाख trucks भर जाएंगे e-waste को. And if we put all those trucks in a line, we can cover the entire equator of the earth. इतना e-waste already generate हो चुका है. Okay, that is the extent of the problem. Clear? Now, what else? What kind of e-waste are we generating? Okay, we have small equipment, we have large equipments, which does not, we're not talking excluding solar photovoltaic. What you see is the circle is the total amount of e-waste generated, and what you see in the green part, that pie, green portion, is the amount that has been collected and recycled. Okay, तो इतना अगर generate हुआ है तो उसका सिर्फ इतना portion, that is about 12% has been recycled. Okay, this is what the numbers tell you. Temperature exchange equipment, which means refrigerators, air conditioners, right? Screens and monitors, small IT and telecommunication equipment, lamps, photovoltaic panels. This gives you an idea about what kind of waste, कैसे कैसा equipment है, किस proportion में generate हो रहा है, and out of that proportion, how much of it are we actually recycling it. All right. When we recycle, when e-waste is generated, what are the different kinds of things that are derived from it? First is क्या निकलेगा? अब ये बताओ, इसको देख के क्या लग रहा है? इसमें सबसे ज़्यादा क्या है? ये क्या है? Plastic. Okay, so you can think of plastics. So plastics comprise about 33% of the portion that is generated in e-waste. All right. A major chunk always goes to metals. So metals account for about 49%. जो भी e-waste generate होता है, 49% of that is metals. All right. And then you also have glass, 12%, which is, used for screens and all. Wood and others is 1%. This is a composition of what e-waste looks like. All right. Now, what is the problem with e-waste? क्या problem है? कर दो dump, landfills में फेंक दो जैसे फेंकते हैं normal, बाकी कूड़ा भी तो फेंकते ही है ना. Why not this? Harmful gases, okay, or yes, harmful chemicals, there are harmful gases, all right. They basically, the main problematic element जो है ना, वो है lead, cadmium, mercury. These are all toxic elements which leach into the environment if e-waste is not treated properly. And lead is known to have caused huge problems in human health and environment. So main problem in elements se hai, okay. So that is why e-waste needs to be collected, segregated and discarded properly. Okay. Now, continent wise, if we look at the polluters, e-waste polluters, the first rank will go to Europe, okay, which is something you might not really think. But Europe hai, then Oceania region, which includes Australia, Americas, and then Asia. What you see in green is again the percentage or the number that means has been recycled in that continent. All right, this is the latest figure of 2022 likha hai, but this is a part of the global e-waste monitor report 2024. Okay. Now, country wise, where do we stand? India is the third largest e-waste generator in the world. अब चाइना वैसे तो हर चीज़ में आ गई है, सोलर में भी है, विंड में भी है, तो ई-वेस्ट में भी नेचुरली होगा, ठीक है. So China is the largest producer, followed by United States, and then India is the third largest e-waste polluter or producer in the world. Within India, which state? Maharashtra. Why? Batao, why Maharashtra? Why do you think it is Maharashtra? Yes, commercial development is more there. It's a financial capital, Mumbai. Okay? So Maharashtra, followed by Tamil Nadu, and followed by Andhra Pradesh. Okay, these are the main e-waste generating states in India rank wise. Now let's understand. हमें ये तो समझ आ गया. Let's understand a little bit about this e-waste को हमने समझ लिया. What is e-waste? E-waste कैसे generate होता है? What are the harmful effects? What are the harmful elements that come out of e-waste? Let's understand the laws related to e-waste in India and their evolution. Okay. Before any proper e-waste law came in India, there were certain acts which were covering e-waste. ऐसा नहीं है कि e-waste was totally unregulated. Under the Factories Act 1948, several components, electronic components are covered in this, that how they will dispose. Similarly, under Environment Protection Rules, certain categories and components, okay, they were also effluent disposal norms were given, which also told that how effluent should be disposed of. So these were vaguely covering electronic waste, not in its entirety. Okay. Then also we also had the hazardous waste management rules. So do you know there is a Basel Convention for transboundary movement of hazardous waste? Okay. Basel Convention earlier did not include e-waste in its ambit. Okay. It was only in the COP8 of Basel Convention that they explicitly mentioned that e-waste is actually hazardous and will be included in the component. Okay. So hazardous waste and handling rules also covered e-waste. Now let's come to India, and in the Indian context, I'd like to tell you a little bit more in detail. All right. So we'll start off with first. Which ones do you know the first rules? सबसे पहले कौन से आए इंडिया में? First, we start with e-waste management and handling rules 2011. This was the first time that we had a concept of e-waste rules in India, that e-waste was recognized as something that jiski accountability fix honi chahiye. Okay. So under this, for the first time, the concept of extended producer responsibility was outlined. Extended producer responsibility ka concept for the first time was outlined. That means those people or those companies which are engaged in producing electronic equipments, EEE, okay, electrical and electronic equipments, they are responsible for its waste management. Okay. Now, when I say producer, what does it include? Producer में कौन आता है? Give me example. Will Videocon, LG, will they be a part of producers? Yes. Okay. Now, will Chroma, Vijay Sales, ये companies हैं, dealers हैं, are they a part of producers? No. And what about if some, let's say again, Vijay Sales is importing some very hi-fi electronic equipment, or Apple stores are importing Apple iPads, right? So are they included in producers? Should be nahi, are they? Yes. Okay. So when you say producer, you not only mean manufacturer, but you also mean somebody who's a dealer or an aggregator. Okay. And you also mean somebody who is an importer. तो प्रोड्यूसर मीन्स जो ला रहा है, बस ला रहा है या बना रहा है, irrespective of that. They are all accountable for electronic waste management. Okay. Now in 2011 when this was for the first time e-waste responsibility fix की थी. So the rules were in a very nascent stage. बहुत ज़्यादा स्पेसिफिकेशंस नहीं दिए थे, बहुत मोटी मोटी चीज़ें बोली थी कि फॉर एग्जाम्पल प्रोड्यूसर जो है इसकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कलेक्ट करना, कि आप कलेक्शन सेंटर्स लगाओ. सो यू विल फॉर एग्जाम्पल इस्टेब्लिश कलेक्शन सेंटर्स, ओके, या आप अपने ही सेंटर पे आप लोगों को इनकरेज करो कि वो आके अपना पुराना ई वेस्ट डिस्कार्ड करें, ठीक है. और अनदर थिंग वाज दे टोल्ड बल्क कंज्यूमर्स. व्हाट आर बल्क कंज्यूमर्स? बल्क कंज्यूमर्स मतलब जैसे आईटी कंपनीज हो गई विच आर यूजिंग इक्विपमेंट इन अ large way, right? And for example government, okay, government departments, they are also bulk consumers. तो उनको बोला गया कि आप जो है अपना ई वेस्ट ऐसे रैंडमली थ्रो नहीं करेंगे. what you will do is you will maintain a record of how you are disposing it, okay, and you will give it to authorized recyclers only. Okay, there will be something called authorized recyclers जिनको आप दोगे for recycling. At the max you can store your this finer points was like कि आप 120 या 180 days के लिए अपना e-waste store कर सकते हो, उसके बाद आपको discard करना पड़ेगा. So the whole idea of 2011 was it had just introduced the concept of producer's liability to manage the waste. Before this, there was no concept of extended producer responsibility in any way. Not even in plastics, not even in e-waste, kahin bhi ye concept nahi tha. So the main achievement of 2011 rules was the introduction of the concept of extended producer responsibility. Producers का ही काम था to generate awareness in consumers कि हम आपको बता रहे हैं कि आपको ऐसे dispose करना है, आपके equipment पे कोई एक tag लगा दिया या symbol लगा दिया that this should be recycled properly or this should be disposed of properly, so on and so forth. Very basic things were done in 2011. All right. Now let's come to 2016. Okay, in 2016 came the e-waste management rules 2016. Now how were these rules an improvement over this version? How were they an improvement over this version is what we have to understand. We have extended producer responsibility को हमने continue किया, but we had it in an improved version of extended producer responsibility. इसके through पहला चीज हमने ये किया that हमने number of products specify किए. अभी तक हमने products की बात ही नहीं की थी कि कौन से हैं, हम generic बोल रहे थे e-waste. In 2016 we specified 21 products, 21 triple E products, okay, 21 triple E products which have to be disposed of in a proper manner, This were divided in two categories. One is IT and communication, that is information technology and communication, and the other was consumer electronic equipment, यानी कि जैसे household appliances और ये. All right, these two parts में we divided. So we had a, is this visible, this color red, or should I change it? दिख रहा है ना? Okay. All right, so we had, for the first time we came up with 21 products which were defined in this. All right, in this another interesting thing that we added in this products was CFL bulbs, which had become very popular then. CFL were added in this 21 products, that was, it was defined as a part of e-waste. Okay, apart from that we fixed the role of स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट, हमने स्टेट गवर्नमेंट का रोल फिक्स किया. सबसे पहले मेन इशू जो ई वेस्ट में व्हाट वी रियलाइज्ड वाज that 90 to 95% of the e-waste treatment that was happening was in the informal sector. यानी कि e-waste जा रहा था कचरे में, rag pickers, okay, poor small children, they were separating the e-waste from rest of the waste, okay, and then they were treating it in any random order, ठीक है. So what was happening is there was no skill that was being imparted to people as to how e-waste should be treated. All right. So that role of skill development was given to the state governments. That means how e-waste has to be collected, segregated, and then recycled. That role had to be given to the state government. Recyclers. Recyclers. यानी कि जो actually people हैं who are recycling the e-waste, they had to be authorized by the state pollution control boards. The recyclers had to be authorized by the state pollution control boards. इस केस में भी यही था, जो यहाँ पे आपके authorized recyclers हैं वो भी state pollution control board ही authorize करती थी. So the logic was, if anybody wants to become an authorized recycler, what he has to do is he has to apply, and वो एक आपको set of procedures देंगे कि आपको ये follow करना है to recycle the e-waste. And when they follow the procedure, they get an authorization letter from the State Pollution Control Board that this company or this entity is authorized to recycle e-waste in our state. Okay, so authorized recyclers का concept था. Okay, now what happened after that? और थोड़ा सा हमने थोड़े और इसमें provisions, some other provisions that were added was urban local bodies. Urban local bodies को भी एक role दिया गया that orphaned products, यानी कि products जो कहीं ऐसे ही मिल जाते हैं कूड़े वूड़े में, orphaned products का recycling जो है that was had become the responsibility of urban local bodies. ठीक है. Apart from this, an interesting scheme was launched that was known as the deposit refund scheme. Deposit refund scheme. Deposit refund scheme meant, for example, let's say you go to Chroma to buy a laptop. ठीक है. At the time of purchase of laptop, Chroma will charge you an additional fee, whatever, let's say 1,000 rupees. And they say at the end of the use of this laptop, at the end of its life cycle, whenever you will throw it and discard it, if you come and discard it at our center, at our collection point, we will return you your 1,000 rupees. Okay, so that was the deposit refund scheme. That was also launched in this 2016 version of e-waste rules. ठीक है. So 2011 और 16 में क्या डिफरेंस है? थोड़े से फाइनर पॉइंट्स 16 में और ज़्यादा थे, प्रोडक्ट्स स्पेसिफाई कर दिए. हमने प्रोड्यूसर्स जो है, प्रोड्यूसर की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी को थोड़ा और ब्रॉडन कर दिया. ओके, एंड वी टोल्ड देम दैट इट इज़ योर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी टू कलेक्ट the e-waste and then segregate it. Okay, and for this we also introduced something called Producer Responsibility Organization or PROs. Producer Responsibility Organizations are like an intermediary between producer and recycler. अब for example, अगर Samsung है, Samsung is building fridges, it's producing fridges and manufacturing all equipment. Do you think Samsung, the main organization or company, would have the time and bandwidth and the will to actually invest or put their brains into this activity of e-waste collection? No, they will rather have a third party or a subsidiary which will act for them on this basis. So producer directly harass ना हो, अब प्रोड्यूसर को खुद ही सारा काम ना करना पड़े. सो यू हैव अ प्रोड्यूसर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन विच इज एन इंटरमीडियरी विच विल हेल्प देम आइडेंटिफाई, कलेक्ट, segregate e-waste and hand it over to a authorized recycler कि हाँ ये हमारा e-waste है, अब इसको recycle कर दो. ठीक है, दिस वॉज द रोल ऑफ ई वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट रूल्स 2016. अब ये तो हमने कर दिया. अब नेक्स्ट स्टेप क्या हुआ? व्हाट द गवर्नमेंट इंक्रीजिंगली रियलाइज्ड दैट आर ई वेस्ट एंटायर सेक्टर इज सो इनफॉर्मल. छोटी छोटी मोबाइल की दुकानें हैं, छोटे छोटे लैपटॉप रिपेयर के हैं, स्मॉल स्मॉल शॉप्स एवरीवेयर. वी डोंट नो अबाउट देम, वी डोंट नो व्हाट इज हैपनिंग. हमने प्रोड्यूसर को तो बोल दिया, बड़ी बड़ी कंपनीज को बोल दिया, डीलर्स को बोल दिया दैट यू हैव टू कलेक्ट, okay, and you have to give it for recycling through a intermediary or directly, whatever. हमने उनके ऊपर तो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी फिक्स कर दी. बट वॉट अबाउट स्मॉल एलिमेंट्स? वॉट अबाउट द होल वैल्यू चेन हैज नॉट बीन इंक्लूडेड. हमने रैग पिकर्स को इंक्लूड नहीं किया, हमने बहुत सारी चीजें स्किप करी विच वॉज एन इनफॉर्मल पार्ट ऑफ दिस सेक्टर. In order to bring all the informal players on board, we came up with e-waste management rules 2022, which was a further improvement on e-waste rules 2016. Okay. In this हमने प्रोड्यूसर था, प्रोड्यूसर मैन्युफैक्चरर ये सब उसमें इंक्लूडेड है. ओके, इन दिस वी आइडेंटिफाइड certain stakeholders. Okay, certain stakeholders beings one, manufacturers, यानी कि जो एक्चुअली मैन्युफैक्चर कर रहे हैं. टू, प्रोड्यूसर्स में आ गए आपके डीलर्स आ गए. ठीक है, जैसे विजय सेल्स हो गया, क्रोमा हो गया, इंपोर्टर्स आ गए. सो पीपल हु आर doing the aggregating role also. Okay, your e-commerce players also, Amazon, Flipkart, they are also a part of this producer. Okay, then third is recyclers, that means authorized recyclers who have been given the authorization by the state pollution control board कि आपके पास जो ई वेस्ट आएगा following the standard operating procedure आप उसको recycle करोगे. Okay, that is recycler. And finally fourth is refurbisher. That means those small shops, those small जो है, जो छोटे छोटे हैं, जो कि रिफर्बिशिंग का काम करते हैं, यानी कि हु आर टेकिंग ओल्ड लैपटॉप्स, सेकेंड हैंड लैपटॉप्स और उनको थोड़ा ठीक ठाक करके एंड देन अगेन सेलिंग इट इन द मार्केट. दे आर ऑल्सो जनरेटिंग ई वेस्ट. ओके, सो ऑल दीज फोर स्टेक होल्डर्स वर recognized. There is one more which was recognized in this is known as dismantler. यानी कि डिसमैंटलर मीन्स जब से ई वेस्ट आता है उसको पार्ट्स में डिवाइड करना, तोड़ना. भाई प्लास्टिक अलग किया, लकड़ी अलग की, वट एवर पार्ट्स अलग किए, एंड देन अकॉर्डिंगली डिसमैंटलर इज वन रोल, and then whatever can be recycled was sent to the recycler. Okay, these are the important stakeholders that came into this. Another way how this was an improvement over the 2016 rules was these 21 products which were here, they were increased to about 100 plus products in this. Okay, 100 plus products इसमें हमने add कर दिए थे. It's about 106. Okay, which included, okay, solar photovoltaic modules. तो हमने सोलर, इसमें हमने CFL ऐड किया था, इसमें सोलर फोटोवोल्टाइक मॉड्यूल्स को भी इंक्लूड किया है. बट व्हाट डिड वी एक्सक्लूड? What will not become a part of e-waste is number one, waste batteries. Because for that we have a separate set of rules. Okay, waste batteries and plastic packaging. Okay, जो पैकेजिंग के लिए प्लास्टिक यूज होता है, that will not be considered a part of e-waste. All right, this is how it was an improvement over rules 2016. Okay, now अब मेन चीज क्या है, ये तो आई एम जस्ट टेलिंग यू द थिंग्स. The main thing how it differentiated from 2016 was the government realized the whole sector is informal. Nobody knows what is really happening. आपने producer पे responsibility डाल दी that you will collect the e-waste and you will get it recycled. But what about other players? So in this rules, government basically the 2022 rules digitized the whole process of e-waste management in India by saying that all these stakeholders, especially these first four, manufacturer, producer, recycler and refurbishers, they all have to register themselves. They all have to register themselves on a portal which is being run by CPCB. दैट इज सेंट्रल पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड. अभी तक हम स्टेट पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड की बात कर रहे थे. स्टेट पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड अथॉरिटी ऑथराइज कर रहा था रिसाइकलर्स को. बट नाउ इन 2022 रूल्स we are asking all the four stakeholders to get themselves registered on a portal which is being run by Central Pollution Control Board. अब इससे क्या होगा? इससे ये होगा कि अभी तक जो सब प्लेयर्स यहाँ वहाँ जा रहे थे, वी डिडंट नो व्हाट वाज हैपनिंग. वंस दे रजिस्टर एंड दे गिव देयर रिकॉर्ड. सो रजिस्टर का मतलब ये नहीं कि सिर्फ बस रजिस्ट्री करके छोड़ना है. यू हैव टू गिव योर रिकॉर्ड्स. हाउ मच ई वेस्ट हैव यू कलेक्टेड और जनरेटेड, ठीक है, हाउ मच हैव यू रिसाइकल्ड. मतलब जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर प्रोड्यूसर्स हैं, मान लो दिस इज विजय सेल्स और क्रोमा, they will give an account of how much e-waste they have, how much EEE material they have put on the marketplace. Okay, recyclers will give an information about कि हमने इतना ton e-waste recycle किया. Refurbishers will give an idea about इतना हमने refurbish किया, इतना हमारा waste generate हुआ and बाकी का discard किया. So all this information earlier, which was somewhere in limbo in the previous rules, has now come on the portal. This was the main achievement of the e-waste 2022 rules. Okay, so you kind of tried to formalize the sector which is very informal and very haphazardly spread across the country. Okay, clear, understood? Okay, now apart from that, of course, state pollution control boards, central pollution control board, they have the power to make audits. वो कभी भी किसी भी शॉप पे किसी भी कंपनी में जाके ऑडिट कर सकते हैं कि वेयर इज योर ई वेस्ट, राइट? इवन फॉर दैट मैटर, इवन हियर लेट्स से इन विजन आईएएस, दैट where is the e-waste, how much is it being used, how much is it being generated, where is it going for recycling. All that information has to be put or prepared by organizations, by companies, by small shops on a quarterly basis as well as on an annual basis. So record keeping has to be done. All right, and therefore इनकी audits हो सकते हैं, the verification can be done. All right, and if there is any lacunae or anything is found, the penalty can be put on this. Okay, so the penal provisions are also in place in 2022 rules. ठीक है, इसमें भी थे but they are more stringent in 2022 rules. This is the key difference. Clear? Understood how it has evolved? पहले हमने सिर्फ मोटा मोटा बात किया कि यार एक प्रोड्यूसर की रोल है और सबको बोला भाई अपना ई वेस्ट ठीक से एक्सपोज करो और ऑथराइज्ड रिसाइकलर्स को ही दो, ठीक है, बट वी आर नॉट चेकिंग हु इज डूइंग व्हाट. In the middle, we identified the products, okay? We gave them PROs, we gave them schemes, we told the roles of different bodies what to do, when to do, and finally in 2022, we identified the main stakeholders, gave an important task to each one of them, किसका क्या role है, उनकी definitions identify की, products का scope expand किया, and we created a portal, which was the main achievement of this 22 rules. We created a portal where we are asking everyone to register themselves so that we can check where the whole value chain या फिर कैसे उसका e-waste कहाँ कहाँ हम उसको track कर सकते हैं. This is being done. ठीक है. Now in these 2020 rules, 2 amendments have been made. Okay, some minor amendments. जस्ट थोड़ी सी, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल सोलर फोटोवोल्टाइक को इंक्लूड करके ऐसे करके कुछ अमेंडमेंट्स हुई हैं. मेन जो एक अमेंडमेंट हुई है which is a little controversial is that the government has come up with the fact that जो portals है, okay, oh I missed one very important point, I'm really sorry, there is one very important point here, that is EPR, extended producer responsibility recycling certificates, okay. So basically anybody who is recycling is e-waste या any sort of e-waste gets a certificate, and these certificates can be traded. Like carbon credits, like green credits. So for example, if any organization has recycled beyond what it is mandated to, अगर उसके beyond जाके recycling करवाया है या उसको facilitate किया है, they can earn EPR, that is extended producer responsibility recycling certificates, and these certificates can be traded. All right. So what happened in this amendment was एक पर्टिकुलर पोर्टल था या एक पर्टिकुलर पोर्टल पे ये सर्टिफिकेट्स ट्रेड या इनके जनरेशन हो सकता था. Now the government has said that I will not just have one portal, I will have many portals on which these certificates will be generated and traded. And because of which, what is happening is there is something called paper trading. For example, let's say I am an e-waste generator or recycler, and I am saying कि हाँ मेरे पास 12 किलो e-waste आया, मेरे पास 12 किलो e-waste आया जिसको मैंने recycle किया. Now in that 12 kg, what is the guarantee that actually 12 kg है अंदर उसके, ठीक है, हो सकता है उसके ऊपर सिर्फ पाइप ही लगी हो, it's all the weight, what is there inside. So whether actual thing is being done or not, so or is it just being mentioned that okay, on paper I am showing that I am doing so much, but actually am I doing so much or not, that is what can be cheated, number one. Number two, if I am showing EPR certificates or this recycling on one portal, I can show it on another portal and again get certificates. So there is no one single tracking point, understood? There is no one single tracking portal. This was also a criticism of the amendment that came about. Clear? Understood? This is a summary of the electronic waste management rules in India. Clear? Is this understood? So now we are moving in that direction where we are specifying the products, we are incentivizing people to recycle it by giving these certificates, and we are registering all the stakeholders on the portal in order to make the whole activity more formalized. This is the summary of EPR rules in India. Okay? Is this clear? All right. So we have done this comparison of e-waste rules in India. Now, whenever you're reading the e-waste rules, you will have a broader picture in mind and finer points you can read and understand. Okay? All right. What about other things related to e-waste? What are the main organizations related to e-waste in India? So e-waste primarily, responsibility for regulating e-waste comes under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Remember, it is not METI. Okay, electronics ministry nahi hai, so please don't confuse with that. The Central Pollution Control Board and State Pollution Control Board make proper procedures and also audit, right? Audit and verification is also done by them, right? Other examples are e-Parisara. Okay, this is India's first government approved e-waste recycling company. Okay, currently we have about 400-500 odd authorized recyclers in India. Okay, Seelampur, do you know Seelampur area outside Delhi? This is one of the largest hubs of e-waste collection points in India. All right, and e-waste clinic, India's first e-waste clinic was launched in Bhopal. So this is e-waste clinic basically means एक point है जहाँ पे they collect e-waste from residences, from commercial places and then recycle it. All right, clear? And this is Namov E-Waste Management Limited. This is again also one of those companies which is involved in e-waste recycling in India. From a global perspective, if you want to see e-waste, I told you Basin Convention on Hazardous Waste includes e-waste, all right? United Nations E-Waste Coalition, जो एक मेन बॉडी है दैट इज UN E-Waste Coalition. This includes the International Labour Organization, ITU, that is the International Telecommunication Union, and other bodies, and they publish the annual report Global E-Waste Monitor. Okay, Global E-Waste Monitor, they report is released, which जिसका डेटा अभी हमने स्टार्टिंग में देखा था, जो मेन डेटा है फॉर दिस ईयर 2024. There is another initiative, the International E-Waste Management Network. Okay, this is again a government of a platform for exchanging best practices by government officials. All right, and R2 Code of Practices. R2 Code of Practices is basically a document which tells that how exactly guidelines for recycling, how it should be done. It gives you an exact idea कि अगर आपने ये standard operating procedure follow किया है, that is R2 Code of Practices, that means you have environmentally sustainably recycled your e-waste. Okay, so that is R2 Code of Practices. This is some of the international context related to e-waste. A few data points related to e-waste which you can use in some of your answers and talk about is that only 20% of the global e-waste is recycled. हमने small numbers देखे थे अलग अलग equipment के. If you have to put one number to it, you can call it global. 20% is recycled. Okay, and the recovery rate of cobalt from e-waste is only 30%. जबकि actually हम इतना उससे retrieve कर सकते हैं that we may not even have to mine more cobalt. So for example, the one recycler in China already produces more cobalt by recycling than what the country mines in 1 year. So you can actually retrieve that much amount of elements. Okay, so but how much we are doing? We are only retrieving about 30%. All right, and recycled metals are also more energy efficient than the metals you derive from smelting a virgin ore. Okay, so recycled metals are also energy efficient. And finally, improving end of life handling is important for building a circular economy. So more sustainable. So sustainable development goals also becomes a very important point in this. Sustainable development goal related to cities, related to consumption, related to pollution, all these sustainable development goals are also within the ambit of e-waste. तो अगर आपको e-waste पे essay लिखना है या point लिखना है, you can include these sustainable development goals also. All right. What are the challenges related to e-waste management in India? You tell me. हमने देख लिया, we have understood the rules, we have understood the points. What are the challenges? There is poor awareness, there is lack of awareness in people related to how they can really actually, घर में पड़े रहते हैं पुराने पुराने मोबाइल फोन, समझ नहीं आ रहा क्या करें. ठीक है, so that is there. Or segregation practices. Okay, segregation has to be done at the source, at the time of disposal. So RWAs have an important role to play in this. They can install e-waste dustbins in the societies. So जहाँ पे properly वो वहीं पे segregate हो जाए and you're not throwing it in the main, so along with the solid waste. Okay, and what else? Consumerism has to come down. You can say so, but it is a little unrealistic and a little unfair to ask for people to reduce their consumption. Unfortunately, the products का life ही है ये. कोई any mobile phone you know you use does not last beyond 3 years or 4 years, right? So products are made in a way, and also because there are rapid changes in technology. Technology is advancing at such a fast rate that products end up becoming obsolete. So no option there. What else? हाँ, recycling का process costly है. Yes, उसका return on investment तभी अच्छा है if you are recycling in huge numbers. Then only you can derive good metal amount from it, है ना? तभी उसका फायदा है. अगर थोड़ा थोड़ा recycle होगा तो obviously you cannot derive economic value out of it. Good. All right. Apart from that, there is lack of incentives. E-waste policy and regulation needs to be stringent. Material, there will be hazardous material. So skill development of people, how to deal with that hazardous material, how to deal with segregation, right? And technological issues, we already know, technological know-how. Informal recycling is a major problem. कभी भी e-waste का question कहीं भी कुछ भी आए, 90% of e-waste or 80% to 90% of e-waste in India is recycled in the informal sector, should be your opening sentence or at least in the starting. Okay, because it tells the examiner, you know, this is the crux of the problem. This is the crux of the problem. And of course, child labor and all these things are other issues. Let's see some questions that UPSC has asked related to e-waste. This is 2021 question. This talks about R2 code of practices. In all honesty, nobody knew about it jab ye aaya. Of course, I have the benefit of hindsight, so I can teach you about it. But when this question came, everybody was like, whoa, what's that? Okay, so it was a very, very tough question. But nonetheless, after this, we have known. So it's environmentally responsible practices in electronics recycling industry. Okay, and this question, this was asked in 2013, if I'm not wrong. Due to improper indiscriminate disposal of old and used computers or their parts, which of the following are released into the environment as e-waste? Beryllium, cadmium, chromium, heptachlor, mercury, lead, plutonium. Answer it. You don't need knowledge to answer this. You need common sense. लेड तो होगा, मैंने तो लेड और मर्करी तो मैंने खुद ही बोल दिया था, लेड, मर्करी, कैडमियम. Okay, I haven't shown you the options, but there was only one option which did not have plutonium. Plutonium, as you know, is a radioactive material. It is highly unlikely कि electronic appliances में radioactive material ऐसे होगा. Okay, so plutonium had to be eliminated, and that was the answer. All right, clear? So these are the kind of questions UPSC has asked. Mains में अभी तक e-waste का कोई बहुत question as such आया नहीं है. So you can expect a question anytime soon. All right. So with this, we come to an end because the topic was more related to laws of e-waste management in India. I hope I have given you a broader understanding of how the evolution took place and in what direction further the laws will move. Right. Thank you very much.